Hey everybody, PJ Riley, Lancaster Archery, out here with the new Mathews ARC 30. There's also the ARC 34. Brand new flagship hunting bow from Mathews for 2026. What's new? New riser, new cams, new features. We're gonna tell you all about it right now. All right, so Mathews ARC 30. As we mentioned, 30 inches axle to axle. So it's actually been a while since Mathews had a 30-inch bow. I got to do some research, but I'm going to leave a graphic on the screen here telling you when the last time Mathews had a 30-inch hunting bow, because it's not coming to the top of my head. I'm going to have to research that. Introduce a new bow to you. It is the Mathews Vertex. And we are real excited to tell you about this bow because it's not very often that you get some true innovation, something really new in a bow, and Mathews did it this year with the Vertex. But 30 inches axle to axle and 34 inches for the other version of the ARC. Brace height on the ARC 30 is going to be 6 inches, on the 34, 6.5. Now this bow here, the ARC 30, it has a listed weight of 3.9 pounds. We're gonna put it on our scale, show you what we get. All right, Mathews ARC 30. We have a listed weight, bow weight, of 3.99 pounds, and Mathews says that is without their dampener. So 3.99 pounds is what they say, and we get 4.075, pretty close. So in the 30, what we're gonna have for draw lengths is 25 to 30.5. 34 is gonna be 26.5 up to 32 inches. So those are the draw length options. But let's talk about what's new with this. This is the SWX-Z cam. So Mathews has had the SWX cam for a couple years now. They tweaked it a little bit, and the main thing they added is perimeter weights. Right here, this silver device, that is a perimeter weight. We've seen that in their target bows. They've had that for several years in the cams on their target bows. Helps that cam come around, just to increase, helps with speed, helps reducing vibration. One of the first things I noticed is there are no monkey tails on this bowstring, and yet, to me, I believe it's quieter than last year's Lift X. It definitely has less vibration. I shot them side by side, felt less vibration with this one, and yet we have no monkey tails. So we can get it quieter, less vibration without those monkey tails. There's more vibration at the shot with this one than there is with that one. I wouldn't think it would make that much difference. So sticking with the SWX-Z cam, you are still going to use the exact same SWX mods. So we're not changing mods, we only change the cams. Mathews is unique in that the modules control draw length, draw weight, and let off. All three of those you're gonna adjust by changing modules. You're gonna have 80 and 85% let off options in the modules. You're still gonna have your normal peak draw weight module options of 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, or 80 pounds. What's new this year in those modules is Mathews is adding an SWX-Z mod. So the Z, that is gonna help ease things a little bit. If you want a little bit of a smoother draw, it's gonna cost you speed, but a little bit of a smoother draw, you're gonna go for those SWX-Z mods. All right, so I got the SWX-Z mods on. This is the day before launch. I did not have the Z mods. I wanted to see what they felt like. So they are 70 pounds is what the mods are, and I have not drawn it back to see what it feels like. So let's see. Oh, that is way smoother. And it's not just a big dump. Okay, 68 pounds. You know, I think we were actually at 69 with the standard mods. But it's not like this feels like it's 2 pounds, just 2 pounds lighter. It feels a a lot smoother. Like this does not feel like 70 at all. That's like 60 pounds. With those Z mods, I could shoot that all day. I think I'm gonna be shooting with the Z mods on this bow. Yes, it's something I noticed right away when comparing this cam to the one on the Lift X, is that they definitely slimmed down. A lot of the struts, they're definitely sleeker, thinner profile than they were from last year's cam. So they did definitely redesign this cam. Sticking up here, we are still gonna have that limb shift technology that Mathews introduced last year. It allows you to tune right on the line, no need for a bow press. I used it to tune this bow. It's super simple. We'll show you a demonstration of exactly how it works. Show you a clip of that. But essentially, you're just working at the limb tip here and you're cleaning up left-right paper tears. It is really simple. Now, coming down, again, getting into new stuff is this riser. So last year's Lift X was 29.5 inches axle to axle. This is a 30-inch axle to axle, but last year's bow actually had a longer riser. So what Mathews did is now you're gonna notice this limb profile. Last year we were past parallel, meaning the pocket end of the limbs was higher than the axle end. And especially at full draw, those limbs really came down beyond parallel. So this year, what Mathews did is they straightened up that the axle end, pushed it out so it is longer axle to axle, even though the riser's shorter. And they really beefed up right here where it connects to the pocket, both ends of the riser. These are much beefier. We'll show you what it looks like compared to the Lift X. Much beefier here, helps with that rigidity, where I believe I noticed it was in aiming. This thing aims like a dream. Something else new this year, now that SCS, Silent Connect system. Remember, that used to be an add-on that you had to buy and it attached in here. That's what you use to connect your haul line if you're a tree stand hunter, or you connected the sling. Mathews had a sling for it. It was an add-on extra buy that you had to get. Well, right here, now it is built into the riser, so you get it for free. Now, coming down, we are still gonna have our bridge lock cutout for your sight. We are gonna have machine dovetail for your IMS Integrate rest mounts. Grips, this is, Mathews still has now those Bond grips. What you're gonna get is the Engage, and then you're also gonna have two other profiles. You're gonna have Contour and Taper. I'm gonna be honest with you, first thing I'm doing is taking this off, putting on UltraView B-Real grip. I don't like any of the Mathews grips, that's me. Contour is probably the closest that I would choose for shooting if I had to stick with a Mathews grip. You know, in the past you were stuck with the Engage grip or the side plates and that was it. So it's nice with Bond, you've got three to choose from. Something else new this year is right here, you're gonna notice that I have my side rod mount is actually embedded in the riser. It's basically a bridge lock side rod mount. You can see how Mathews now has their own. This is essentially a Shrewd Atlas side rod mount, and you can connect it the way you always connect it, but you can see the cutout, bridge lock cutout, so you can slide it in. Again, taking it off the back, it's all in the name of streamlining. And speaking of that, we have a new front stabilizer this year. Take a look at that right there. That little cutout matches up to this little divot in the bottom of the bridge lock mount for your stabilizer. So this stabilizer with the little cutout and the bridge lock notch, I can run it either as a straight stabilizer, just like that, or if I get into the notch, now I've got 7 degree down in there. So either way, the stabilizer works as straight, or you can get that 7 degree down angle, you know, just drops that weight a little bit lower. Some folks like the way that feels, getting that weight down. So you have the choice. but the combination between the stabilizer and that notch is what makes that work as a 7-degree down angle. All right, speed ratings. This bow right here is rated up to 348 feet per second. We're gonna do our speed test, show you what we got. All right, speed test. Mathews ARC 30. And the speed rating is up to 348 feet per second. We're gonna get our draw weight. 69.7, so right there at 70 pounds. And so we know 70 pounds, 350 grain arrow, 30-inch draw length, I'm at that. Now, one thing Mathews does is when they measure, they say 80% let off. So I went in and got the mods that are 70 pounds, 30-inch draw, 80% let off. So I am matching that. When I'm doing my shooting, I'm at 85% let off, so keep that in mind. Here we go. .344. I do have a big peep on there. This is a big one. It's the one I had sitting around. 343.6, so 344 feet per second off a 348 rating. That's pretty good. As soon as it stops, we're gonna rip.
Okay.
Ready? All right, SWX-Z Mod, we wanted to see what the difference is in arrow speed. Remember this exact setup. All right, SWX-Z Mods. We wanted to see what the speed difference is. Remember, this exact setup with the standard mods gave us 344 feet per second. So, with the Z Mods, 332, 12 feet per second on the first shot. That's pretty good. 331.7, so 332 still with those SWX-Z Mods. All right, shooting experience with the ARC 30. So, got to give props to Mathews. You know, last year, the Lift X, I described the draw cycle as being kind of stiff. Mathews folks didn't like that too much, but they fixed it this year. And I think it's a combination of a number of things. I don't feel a hump at the back end. So last year with the Lift X, I felt like there was effort and then another effort to get the cam to roll over. And I don't have the Z mods on here. These are the standard mods. But what I'll say is my Lift X, I have that turned down to about 64 or 65 pounds. That's what's comfortable for me to draw. This is at 70 pounds and it's comfortable for me to draw. They feel almost the same, but this one is at like 64 pounds and that one's at 70. I also want to say, you know, normally I would say I prefer that longer riser in aiming, but who knows? You know, from year to year, some bows, you just pick them up and shoot them, and you're like, that bow holds really nice. That's this one. It draws nice, it just holds super still. I don't get any of the usual little wiggles and wobbles on there. I have a side rod on there, but you know, there's only 2 ounces on it, plus the end caps. But this one, boy, it just feels like it's super stiff at full draw. I'm guessing that beefier risers, top and bottom there, is making up for that lack of length. Of course, the cams with not going past parallel, I'm sure that's helping as well with my string angle, making it feel even bigger than this 30-inch bow. Super nice. And as we mentioned, quiet.
what? That thing sounds quiet in my headphones even. I hardly hear it.
It's quiet. I shot them side by side. You can't hear it on camera, but the Lift X has a definite twang at the shot, even with the monkey tails, and I feel just a little bit of vibration. It's not bad. This one, I don't feel any vibration, and it's just a thump of the string when it goes off. And remember, we don't have the monkey tails. Yeah, another thing I've noticed too is, so one of the things I like with the limb shift is when I was tuning this, I shoot up close and then I like to back up to 20. You know, I have some hand torque that doesn't always show at that 6 to 8 feet distance, but at 20 yards it will show. So when I went back to 20, my bullet hole looked real clean up close. When I went back to 20, had a little bit of a tear, played with the limb shift, cleaned it up, and now out here when I shoot at distance, these things are flying like darts. I'm getting no wiggle, straight, and that's even with the engaged grip, which the engaged grip, what that does for me is it causes left rights. Because it's rounded, I'll end up left, right. But even with that, these arrows are flying great. All right, you know what's coming. 80-yard claybird, Mathews ARC 30, let's do it. All right, here we go. 80 yards. I did change the grip on there, and it's windy today. So, let's see what we can do. It's gonna be low. That was my fault. Oh, you know what? My last sight move, I moved it the wrong way. Oops. Ah, same spot. Oh no, my one before was low. That one was just high. Boom. That's how we do it. I think that one hit it dead center. It did. I believe we're inside the ring. I've been wrong before. Mathews ARC 30, let's go see where that hit. This one right here, forget about that. Once we got things dialed in, then this was my second, this was my third, bang, right in there. I mean, I'm aiming here, I'm off there, I'm aiming here, I'm off there. That is super close. So we got it on the fourth shot, and with this wind. ARC 30, I know people get angry whenever I say this, but this is, for me, I've had this bow one day. It's feeling like one of the nicest shooting Mathews in a long time. The Mathews Traverse was my favorite Mathews of all time. Man, this one's feeling like that. And I guess I should mention here, how could we forget about this? We're looking at the new color here, Kodiak Brown, brand new color from Mathews out this year. I think there's at least 2 or 3 new colors. If you want to see all the different color options as well as the myriad options you can get in terms of draw lengths and weights, etc., click the link in the description below. If you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you want to see more videos like it, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Don't forget to click that bell to get notifications whenever we put out new videos. As always, if you have any questions, visit us at lancasterarchery.com.